What a terrible day to have eyes. And also ears, I keep telling myself as I keep scouring the depths of humanity. It's not good. Let us get back to some music, first of all. Outside Island, we've been enjoying this. It's pretty okay. I guess the internet is dying today in general. It's not by my hand, but I'm seeing Twitter is struggling a lot already. And that has been happening for a couple of days already. It was just a big outage today. I think it's okay. More normal, perhaps. Whatever normal means in this case. Oh man. Me being tired on Saturday? Yeah, more likely than you think. So, what have we today? Well, let me show you. Let me find the browser. I was a little bit slow with, you know, setting up. I actually made a mistake in YouTube, but I could fix it before going live. Thankfully. Let's see, let's start with a couple of random things before getting into the bigger stuff. Even though these random small things are also not good. So we have here, from a GameStop, new Pokemon TCG products will now be limited to one per customer. Have fun! Sure thing. Limit one per customer, as we prepare for the May 30th, I suppose, launch of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Destined Rivals. GameStop has decided to limit customers to 1 unit per Sku? Probably means customer in some sort of way, but I don't know how or why. Each. To help ensure more fans receive the opportunity to access the latest expansion. Slate booster packs may limit 5 per customer. I hate this. I don't even play the game, but I hate this with a burning passion. I didn't want to say that, but it's true. Because this keeps happening. You cannot have stuff. You cannot buy the new products. Why? Well, you know, because other people are gonna buy them just to resell them for higher profit. As you might expect, yes, this is also a problem service. Also, why is reselling so common nowadays? Well, I suppose it's profitable, but I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this, but I guess I will have to say this. Why is it allowed so blatantly? Sure, I don't mind second-hand market. I think it's actually really good. Games, cards, whatever. You mention it, truly good. This is not it. Not like this. No, this is new. It just came out. What they have to do? Make more cards and maybe they won't sell? Yes, that's a possibility. And this is also really stupid. Because a fair, albeit extremely stupid solution to this would be... how do you call this again? Oh, my mind is blanking. Hold up. I don't want to say pre-purchase, even though it's not entirely wrong. But... oh my god. How is the... it's not early access. Pre-order. That's what I'm looking for. Jesus Christ, I'm so slow today. Maybe you should pre-order the packs, right? So... if you're an actual customer, you will make sure that you can get them. It's really stupid. But this is the world we live in after all. So I guess that makes sense, could make sense, perhaps. I don't know, it's a really stupid solution for a really stupid problem. But I guess it could work. we also have another problem with this, right? In these hobbies, let's say, card games, quote-unquote card games, for... I didn't say that yet, I think it's fine. You have other hobbies that are Legos and whatnot. They are intended for... I was about to say kids before. Let's say younger people, right? I mean, Magic the Gathering is supposed to be 13 plus after all. I think you can play being younger, it's not a big deal. As long as you understand what you're doing. It's impossible. This is impossible for younger people to afford. And back in my day, playing Magic, it was not that hard, okay? Like, buying a pre-constructed deck and playing with that, it was what? 12, 13 bucks, something like that? It's not much. If you got lucky and got some of them in sale like I did, it was an old kind of deck at that point, but you could buy some of them for 8 bucks. And they kinda work, so it's not a big deal. But this is becoming so extremely expensive. It's prohibitive. This is just... Is this NFTs? At least they're real, right? This is so bad. This is so bad. Look, I don't like young people. This is nothing new. I'm picking the mic a little bit. I don't like young people, but they should have hobbies still, okay? Not just card games. More stuff, but also card games. Also, you have people talking about that with movies and whatnot. Ah, it's for kids, who cares? Well, that being for kids doesn't mean it should be bad or low quality or slop. So, yeah, you're kind of wrong with that. God damn me. God damn. Speaking of later stage capitalism, I suppose. Guess I had this one. From Niche Gamer. Payment processors force Japanese retailers to remove adult games indefinitely. But why? If you're an adult, shouldn't you be capable of buying adult games? I guess not anymore. Payment processors are continuing to throw their weight around with Surugaya, putting down their online shop for adult games and dodging. Oh, also dodging. I thought I read that before, but I wasn't sure. According to GameSpark, I guess that's GameStar maybe? In GameSpark and Automaton, the retailer's online partner, Talos EC, is hoping to bring the listings back as soon as possible. However, they also said the listings will remain down indefinitely, and that a situation has arisen that requires discussions with providers regarding payment methods for adult products. It's always the payment providers. Why do they have so much power? Who are they to tell you how to spend your money? Isn't the man entitled to the sweat of his forehead or something like that? I probably butchered that one. I think you know what I mean, right? The fruits of his effort. That makes sense. Isn't that the free market? Surugaya followed up with the statement saying, "We've always handled the products in question in the same manner as other products. At this time, we are prioritizing informing our customers, so we are unable to provide a clear indication of when the site will reopen. As such, the site will be closed for the time being. They're gonna be losing money with this. They're gonna be losing money because they have to close the site. So, just for having adult products, they're being punished. And that's so extremely unfair. Over the past several years, payment processors such as Visa and MasterCard have seemingly, are we sure? I guess they have to say that. Forced platform holders and retailers to censor artists. Last year, popular online retailer DLSite was forced to reject Western payment processors in order to keep their full inventory listed. And they will tell you, well, no, you have to understand this. And there's stranger stuff here. Now, once again, it's always Western. And it doesn't make any sense, right? Because if you can sell and buy their stuff in Japan, and you can sell and buy their stuff in, I don't know, let's say Western country that is not extremely cocked. Poland, I guess? Hungary, perhaps? That would be okay. Shouldn't you be able to buy from Japan and get it on your country? You should. But there are other countries, namely Australia, where lolicon stuff is illegal. And I have to say, wait, hold up. Why do I care about Australian laws if I'm not in Australia and I'm not buying from Australia? Right? Doesn't make any sense. Why should I care? Why is that important to me? It's not. But once again, because it keeps happening, is this holier than thou attitude that these people have. So annoying. You cannot stop it, okay? You cannot stop it. People will jerk it. Steam has even gotten involved when earlier this year, payment processors allegedly refused to handle payouts to the creators of all games sold on Steam. Which is really strange. Really strange. I don't think I read this one. It's from Niche Gamer. Let us peruse really fast. From January. Probably saw this one. Yeah, that's what I thought, right? This seems to be... Yep. This seems to be about Japanese artists. Why? Why always Japan? Because obviously, if they have their games on Steam, that means they're legal. That's okay, that's right. You can buy them. Why is that a problem? They have far more rancid games from the West. So, where's this morality crusade? It's so annoying. Japanese politicians like Yamada Taro and Akamatsu Gang have pushed back with minor success. You hate to say that. You might hate minors, but I hate minor success even more. This problem stands beyond Japan, with independent content creators on Patreon being forced to restrict what sort of content they create and host or risk being banned. You have left Patreon for a subscribe star. Well, I don't know necessarily if Patreon here, I don't know too much, that's what I'm saying there, right? It's all about... Yeah, they don't really mention it here. Independent content creators on Patreon being forced to restrict what sort of content they create and host, or risk being banned. They're not even mentioning spicy content. So, if you're being in the trenches for as long as I've been, you understand that the problems from Patreon are mainly politically motivated, which is not good. But it might not make sense to mention it here, of all places. They have problems with the spicy content, maybe they do. Maybe only some spicy content will, which is always funny to me, in a really sad way. Interesting to say the least, but it's always Japan. Aren't we entitled to freedom of expression? It's not just freedom of speech, obviously, but it's obviously freedom of expression. Is that so wrong? Is that so illegal? I don't think it is, but who knows, really. It keeps happening. Every single day. Well, maybe not every single day, but it happens quite a lot. We've been seeing this happening for a long time. And now let's get to something really strange and really stupid. This is the kind of situation that, even though it's people I don't like fighting other people I don't like, it's a terrible situation. Because it's a lose-lose situation, because none of them should win. Might seem harsh, but I think I'm correct. So here we have, from the Yeet account, and to stop the music because this is an actual clip that you should be listening to. We have from this Yeet account, which has been popping off recently. thanks to Asmongold clips and whatnot. There we go. With this interesting excerpt from CNN, today will be an interesting day to say the least. It's from 2 days ago. The head of the ADL, that's the Anti-Defamation League, which are a bunch of clowns, Jonathan Greenblatt, just brought up Hassan Piker's name when talking is a Jewish museum attack. This gamer, Hassan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people, one where we need to look ourselves in the mirror. But don't trust me, trust your ears.
But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hassan Piker.
This gamer, Hassan Piker, I don't like Hassan, but I don't think these accusations are reasonable even.
Who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state.
That's not entirely wrong. The problem here, once again, I think I'm gonna mention this constantly until I finish this story. Should he be able to say anything he wants in a perfect world? Yes. Is this a perfect world? No. Also, he's on Twitch. Twitch has a bunch of TOS. And he's breaking them constantly, but he's not being punished for it. That's a problem. Because we've seen people getting banned from Twitch for pretty much nothing. And this guy is actually a terrorist sympathizer. It's still there. And as we all know by now, the people on Twitch love Hassan Piker because they probably agree with his politics.
Like, extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed.
Once again, I don't think you can agree with that. I mean, what is prejudice? What is hate? What is all of this nonsense? They shouldn't be platformed. I don't like censorship, okay? And I do agree that threats of violence are probably not in the realm of free speech. But once again, this is whistleblowing because this is the ADL. Didn't these guys consider Pepe the Frog a Nazi symbol? Come on now.
This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly. But
consequences will never be the same. What kind of meme is this? I don't even know anymore. But something I find quite vile about all of this, as you might expect, is this strange collectivism. This gamer has some Piker. First of all, he's not even known for being a gamer. Does he play games? Well, a lot of people do. But it's this idea. Oh my god, I keep picking the mic. I'm getting too excited, I guess. It's this idea that perhaps if we say Hassan Piker is a gamer, we can accuse all gamers of being the same. I hate collectivism. Did you know that liking and playing games does not create a kind of culture or ideology? What a shocker! Oh, the toxic gamer. Gamers are Nazis. Gamers are this. Gamers are that. No. But something I can tell you is that gamers are a bunch of fucking idiots because they keep falling for it. So, I was curious, right? Is Hassan Piker a gamer? Well, I don't think he is. The only time I've heard of him playing games was when he was bitching about it, I think it was last year, because he was not getting as big as usual numbers. He was like, well, we're doing great content here. We only have as much people as a late Friday kind of gaming day. And I was like, but what do you mean great content? So I decided to take a look at Twitch Tracker, because that's the only measure I have. Here we have Asnabi. And most stream games, 15,000 hours just chatting. And sure, a lot of people, even though they play games, they do a lot of chatting, okay? I would know. I watch VTubers, right? That's really common. But then we see GTA 5, 600 hours, Fortnite, 600, 260, I know my numbers, Rust, 150, Valorant, barely 140, Call of Duty Warzone, barely 140. And I was thinking, look, this guy has been known for political ranting, okay? If that's what he wants, if that's what he wants to do, that's fine. But then I was wondering, well, he has these strange fights nowadays with Asmongold, and you cannot tell me Asmongold is not a gamer, right? He's known as the Goblin King for a reason. He's in my Goblin deck, please understand. I'm not biased at all, I don't really watch the guy even. Even though he nowadays probably a better example of a commentator, streamer. He's like top 8 in YouTube for searching terms. And this is second account. This is not his main account, but this is the one he's using nowadays, as far as I know. And we go down here, we have just chatting. 3200 hours. Yeah, it's still the main category. But then we have World of Warcraft. 1700. We also have New World. 570. Path of Exile, almost 250. Diablo 4, almost 250. Final Fantasy 14, over 170. So there's a huge difference here in balance. So once again, I have to say, this is just a petty attempt at collectivism. That's why I always tell people to stop using those kind of labels, because it's not useful. We also have an article here from the Hindustan Times, which apparently is a real publication. Twitch star Hassan Piker facing backlash after a Capital Jewish Museum shooting. Here's why. Well, I wonder why. Hassan Piker is facing massive backlash following a deadly shooting in Washington, D.C. left 2 Israeli embassy staff members dead. Was this his fault? Well, I don't know. I have no idea. Could this happen without Hassan Piker? Yes. So it's not just because of Hassan Piker. Don't make me defend this guy, okay? I don't like Hassan Piker. But we need to be fair. We need to be truthful, I suppose. Just 2 days after the shooting, Piker hosted a live stream with over 20,000 viewers, featuring George Ganitis? I don't know who that is. I guess this nickname seems familiar, but I don't know who this is. He has repeatedly made provocative comments against Israelis, saying he's going to get people killed. One widely shared Twitter post claimed, "I wish young people today understood how to protest. It will never change society, hitting half of America, or through violence or bigotry." One Twitter user slammed the Twitch star. Perhaps we're not different after all. This is what they say about the Chads too. How could this happen to us? Stupid tactics, they just work. He also said that his tactics are justified and said they should win a Nobel Peace Prize. And one pointed out, yes, he said a lot of stupid things. Even then, you can make the argument that you have a lot of extremists on both sides already, and you don't need another agitator like Hassan Piker for something like this to happen. We would need a manifesto. That guy that said, "Subscribe to PewDiePie," he was innocent, okay? PewDiePie, I mean. Even Jonathan Greenblatt, head of the ADL, directly called out Hassan Piker during a CNN segment in response to the shooting. Hassan Piker versus the ADL. It's one of those cases where I hope both sides lose. One curious squib seeing the clip. It was not me, okay? It was not me, but true and real. So what happened? Don't really know too much. It was mentioned to me before, though. 2 staffers from the Israeli embassy were shot and killed Wednesday evening just outside the Capital Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Israeli officials called it the depraved act of anti-Semitic terrorism. I mean, I guess, right? Sure, but when you have conflict, it is to be expected. I'm not saying it's good or justified, but it's going to happen. Homeland Security Secretary Kristen Nunn confirmed the deaths in a statement on Twitter. The Israeli embassy staff were senselessly killed tonight near the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. We're actively investigating and working to get more information to share. Please pray for the families of the victims, she said. We'll bring the perpetrators to justice. Sure, the guy killed people. Do you know that killing is bad? Wow, what a hot take. President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio both condemned the shooting as a heinous act of anti-Semitism. I don't think this is wrong to say, but at the same time, this doesn't mean anything. Because it's not that they hate Jewish people because they are Jewish people. It's because they have this conflict with Israel. It's... how to say this? Don't this anti-Semitism, sure, but it's just like a byproduct of the situation. Authorities have identified the suspect as Elias Rodriguez. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a Palestinian name, right? Was probably heard shouting, "Free, free Palestine," after the shooting. He was taken into custody at the scene. Notably, the shooting happened very close to the FBI's Washington field office. Oh, is this a psyop? Come on. Is this a psyop? It could be. Interestingly, a CIA spokesperson also confirmed that there was another shooting just outside the headquarters of the CIA in Langley, Virginia, on Thursday. CIA security personnel engaged a person outside the gates and detained them. Okay, this can happen normally. This seems too obvious. This seems like a really obvious psyop. Right? Am I along with this? I might be along with this. But I don't think it makes sense. They want to push support for Israel and whatnot, and I don't really have a horse in that race, but it is really suspicious. What can you say? My bag. I've been having horrendous sleep lately. It's not good. It's not good. I guess this is just the other side accusing. Is it the other side? Is it the same side? I'm not even sure anymore. Once again, they keep accusing gamers of heinous acts. I'm like, but what does playing games and enjoying games? That's nothing to do with this. Stop it. So extremely stupid. But that's the world we live in. We live in the most stupid times, which is a little bit sad. And this happening is extremely funny, right? Because obviously, they're accusing Hassan Piker of this, even though I don't think it's necessarily fair. I do agree what he's saying is actually dangerous. And I do believe, well, it's not a thing of belief, but we all know he's breaking TOS, and he's not being banned from Twitch. So, when we have this from the people at OBS, it becomes extremely funny. OBS Studio, the open source video streaming software, refused to add Rumble to the list of default streaming options because, as the OBS COO, Joel Bethke, put it, they host hateful and racist content, and they want nothing to do with their platform. Perhaps the same could be said of all platforms. The OBS parent is also actively requesting Rumble support. Worth noting, OBS provides out-of-the-box support for live streaming to porn site OnlyFans, and obviously Twitch. Any comments on this? OBS pride is not going to happen. Why does OBS probably promote pornography and the exploitation of women? Or refuses to support platforms which promote free speech? Well, once again, it's just political values. Let me open this in a tab. Why isn't Rumble listed until the services drop down? Rumble has already provided OBS with all the proper information. Declined. Rumble has not provided anything, And even if they did, they host hateful and racist content and want nothing to do with the platform. What about the hateful and racist content on Twitch? Yeah, this is still the same. And, well, killed. Unlucky. Quite unlucky. And they don't have to like Rumble, okay? I do think that by the nature of the beast, Rumble is kind of an echo chamber, because you get a lot of people banned from other sites for wrong thing. Usually from wrong thing, but you have some other people there. And yeah, they can only really go to Rumble, which is a problem. It's mostly a problem from the other sides than Rumble. Rumble's just picking up the slack, I suppose. You also have Kick, which had some of the same problems, and I don't really know, but I don't think OBS has official support for Kick anyway. I'm still running Kick through a script. Script? It's not a script, it's how do you call this? I don't want to call it a mod, it's not a game, but yeah, some sort of add-on, you know? Really funny. Really funny. They keep policing everything. Ah, hateful. Racist. What a strange thing to say. But at the same time, it's not strange at all. And I'm gonna be honest here. If they were to add this official support for Rumble, I bet more people will go to Rumble from inside, and that would make Rumble a more neutral platform. I'm pretty sure that nowadays, if you want to stream on Rumble, it's probably really annoying. So, yeah. They keep swiping for home so bad. This was a good segue before, I guess. Hello? There we go. That was strange. I just mentioned that gamers are usually really stupid, right? And sure, that's me falling for the collectivistic nature of the discourse, but at the same time, I do have reasons to say that. Because we have these from GameSpot. Surely this is not biased. People are ready and willing to pay $80 or more for games. Analyst says the market will bear it. Plenty of gamers are willing to pay price points above $70. Analyst, singular. So I'm not really putting a lot of weight on this, but there's more. There's more to the story. Playing video games are getting more expensive these days, with companies like Nintendo and Microsoft and some plans to charge $80 for games, and consumers are ready and willing to embrace the higher price points. Embrace despair. It will not help you. As according to analyst Rhys Elliott of Alinea Analytics. The name of the guy sounds familiar, but the company does not. I wonder why. He told IGN that with Nintendo and Xbox announcing bright hikes on games, the floodgates are now open. He expects every publisher in video games that can raise prices to do so. We all are. And that's not good. How many times do I have to say this? You need to keep paying more and more and more for games. They're becoming worse. They're becoming more boring. They're barely functional sometimes. That you need to wait years and spend God knows how much money on DLC just for it to be complete or even playable. You want me to spend $80 base? It's not going to happen. The market will bear it. Plenty of gamers are willing to pay price points above $70, as shown by the high numbers of those willing to pay $100 for a few days early access, Elliot said. I know these people exist. But when I finally reach power, when I finally become Dark Lord of the Universe, those people will be dealt with. I still don't know how, but this behavior will not be allowed, okay? What's wrong with some people? Oh yeah, I'm going to pay 23 bucks to play the game 3 days earlier. What are you doing, you abject fool? It doesn't make any sense, because that's when the game is going to be most broken, and not in a good way. Stop it. Promise that people don't really count for paying for all of the individual needs to keep up with the standard of AAA games, or people will be mad. There are many problems with AAA, and they keep pushing for games being more visually appealing or something like that, and they keep hiring people, a lot of people, and then they had to lay off a lot of people too. And here I'm wondering, oh shit, I wonder why this is a thing. Well, that happens because they hire a lot of people that are not good. So of course, everything is getting inflated, not just the economy, also the economy, obviously, because it's affecting everything, not just games. If you have a lot of people that are not useful, you will spend inordinate amounts of money making games that are bad. Have we seen Ubisoft? Have we seen EA? We have. That's not good. And yes, they have to increase the prices. It's not going to help them, because it's just basic economics. We're not selling games, and we need to make a profit. Let's make games more expensive. Surely we will sell more. Surely. We need a huge company to completely collapse. I guess I'm specifically speaking about BL4, that's not Battlefield, not really person that one, which has above and beyond expectations on their shoulders. Of it, 2001's in the price, 2K. Maybe. That is true, right? That is true. You have publishers being also Borderlands 2, Borderlands 4. Yeah, that makes sense. You have publishers being really credited too, and being too editorial for my liking. But that's the nature of the beast, I suppose. Let's keep reading a little bit more. He added that, even in challenging economic times, people will spend money on what they want the most, including video games. The rising prices will necessarily reduce spending. The market will bear it. Early adopters will always be early adopters, he said. Do I need to bring up those articles talking about how young people need to budget better with short-term spending like groceries? Yeah, the economy is not doing good enough for you to be saying something like this. I don't think this is going to work, but we'll see. A lot of people are stupid and they will pay, sadly. Before this, EA CEO Andrew Wilson said entertainment is a fundamental human need, and as such, he's not worried about the global economic climate negatively impacting video games. It's entirely wrong, but we're talking about triple and even quadruple A here. So this is a really bold statement, especially coming from EA of all people. News is Manu Rusier, meanwhile, said rising game prices may lead to shifts in how money is spent, with consumers being potentially more selective with what they buy. I mean, yeah, obviously. A consumer may respond to rising individual game prices by spending less on individual full-price titles and more on subscriptions, discounted bundles, or long-tail live service games, he said. Oh my god, between a rock and a hard place. I mean, discounted bundles, sure, that's always pretty interesting. Subscriptions? What a melody! And long-tail live service games. I mean, I suppose it's easier to spend 20 bucks a month on a gacha game that spending 80 on a game that's probably gonna be bad. They'll spend mere steady or even grow mildly. Wow! What kind of copium is this? but the distribution across formats and platforms will likely continue to evolve. Xbox's pricing changes, and similar moves by others, will accelerate this transition toward the services and ecosystems over standalone product purchases, Rocio said. Ah, yeah, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Why buy the game when it's in Game Pass? I like owning the shit I buy, even though nowadays that's not really a thing. Yeah, that's not really a thing, right? And that was happening with Ubisoft. If they want, because at the end of the day, it's just if they want, they can take away your access to the games, even if you pay for them. It's just a license. You know what? Sailing the seven seas is only justified. Game prices are not going up universally as 2K Games. Speaking of the devil, just announced that Mafia: The Old Country will go for $50 when it launches in August. And history shows that there have always been lower priced games in the market at the same time as higher priced ones. Dylan Mad of Nico Partner said, $50 games in 2025 is just the new $40 games from the PS4 generation and $30 games from the PS2 generation. Well, I do believe these $50 games are better than what this guy is saying here. Wasn't the new Oblivion $50? Wasn't the French RPG, I don't remember the name, Clair Obscur? Expedition 33? Also $50? Yeah, they don't seem like $30 games from the PS2 era, not gonna lie. That might be me. They've always existed, and should win the price point for titles that aren't quite AAA in nature. That's so fucking rich when they actually look and play better than actual AAA. Matt Biscatello of Circana added that he believes consumers may shift towards free-to-play games and other more easily accessible forms of games. In this, for example, also emulation. I will always bat for emulation. Games like Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox. Oh my god. Is this the Darkness Triforce? It could be. We'll likely see even more players and hours spent in their ecosystems. Players will also rely on and continue to play devices that they already own a bit more rather than buy new hardware. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Am I going to spend $550 on a Switch 2 when the Steam Deck still seems better? I don't think so. And as prices rise and everything is spending categories like food, gas, shelter, automotive, etc., there will be fewer and fewer dollars available for categories like gaming in the US. Not only the US, but I guess they're talking about the US. Nintendo's first $8 game is Mario Kart World, which is the launch title for the Switch 2. So far, it's the only game that Nintendo has confirmed will carry the price point. Not entirely true, not entirely wrong. As for Microsoft, the company will start charging $80 for some games later this year, but the company has not said which ones. Thing here is, sure, it's gonna be, for now, the only standalone game that's gonna be $80. But if you've seen the new release of the Breath of the Wild game, for example, it's actually $80 too, because it's 60 for base game, 20 for the upgrade material. Also, doesn't include DLC. So, if we're being fair, the Switch 2 version is actually $80, no DLC. And the game is not that new anyway. Beyond game prices going up, Microsoft is raising Xbox prices, while Sony may do the same, in part due to the impact of tariffs. Only in part, okay? We've seen that before. Switch 2's $450 price point, meanwhile, is $50 more expensive than the original Switch was in 2017. Was it 550 euros then? I may have my amounts wrong. With inflation factored in, the higher price point may negatively impact sales, Nintendo has said. Well, yeah. That also happened to the 3DS back in the day. Then you had the Ambassador program, and they gave you some free-ish games, which makes sense. Hmm. And you might be thinking, well, this is just a guy. This is just GameSpot. Surely people will not be spending this amount of money, right? Are we sure? Former PlayStation executive says 72 or 80 bug games are a steal. I don't agree with that. It's highway robbery. As long as people choose carefully how they spend their money, I don't think they should be complaining. I don't agree with this. I don't think it means what you think it means. So be careful, man. When you buy through links on our articles, it's never going to happen. I need to blow my nose. I'm gonna mute for a second. I can peruse other cards in the meantime. A little bit better. Feels to me like the closest we get to the Nintendo Switch 2's June launch, and the apparently $80 games associated with it, the more people fighting with themselves over what is and isn't worth it. If it's a new game, it's probably not worth it. But at least Sony veteran and previous head of PlayStation Indies, how great can you be? Shuhei Yoshida is free from inner turmoil. He thinks relatively expensive, high-quality video games are unequivocally necessary. I do agree with that. Where's the high quality? Not really. Where's the high quality? Games nowadays are not as good as they used to be. Okay. I keep saying this, and it still remains true. There are simplified versions of older games, and they're not better. They're simplified, they're boring, they look and feel wrong. And you expect me to pay more, it's not going to happen. Speaking to Critical Hits Games, in a video interview during the recent Gamescom Latam, isn't this Latin America? Why do they have a Japanese guy? I guess that's legal. Yoshida says, when you look at life in general, other products in price have increased, you know? Way more than the game price. I think it was almost too late for the video game companies to start looking at the pricing structure. You should be looking at how much you are spending. And this is really funny, coming from Sony veteran, because we read, this was months ago at this point, I think it was one of the CEOs at Sony, why do they have several, I don't understand, talking about remakes, remasters and whatnot, and saying that people, consumers, not even customers, but just consumers, need to buy those, so they could have enough money to make actual new games. That feels extremely wrong. That's clear to me. There's something wrong with the business. Don't you think you might be spending too much in games that are not profitable? What's wrong with those games? Why are they not profitable? Well, you're spending a lot, and the games are not good. Fix that. Just fix that. It's that easy. I don't believe that every game is to be priced the same. Well, thank goodness. Ishida continues. Each game has different value it provides, or the size of budget. Yeah? Yeah. And that's a big problem. I don't believe it's up to the publisher or developers self-publishing decision to price their products to the value that they believe they're bringing in. To the publisher. Keeps happening. And sure, I understand that the publisher's also incurring sort of risk here, but at the same time, if they're not the developers, they're not investing the most into the game, as far as I know. How greedy can they get? The monopoly shares this mindset. Well, Nintendo has always been really greedy, let's be real. Wow, this game is almost 15 years old. How expensive is it? The same. The same. I do remember seeing Mario Kart DS almost 12 years after release on stores for the same price. How greedy can you get? The 3DS was out already. Screen Nintendo of America product Experience VP build training called IGN in April. Training? What I thought. We just look at each individual game and we look at the content and the value of the game. And then we say, what's the right price for the value of this entertainment? Developer elected price. Elected to price is strange. Switch to tutorial welcome tour at $10. Instead of making it free like PlayStation's comparable Astro's Playroom. Are you gonna tell me Mario Kart is $80? There's no way you believe that. Get your head out of your ass. It continues to say that in terms of actual price of 70 or 80 bucks for really great games, I think it will still be still in terms of the amount of entertainment, the top games, top quality games, bring to people compared to other form of entertainment. And once again, I do agree with that. The problem here is that they keep saying really great games, top quality games, but they're nowhere to be seen. Where are these mythical great games? Where's this strange top quality, so elusive? As long as people choose carefully how they spend their money, continues, I don't think they should be complaining. I'm gonna complain anyway. It's like also resulting for Nintendo to make prices so high. Their whole thing was caring about children. In theory, but that's also like a business strat, right? Because obviously it's not the kids that are buying the games. It's the parents, it's the adults in general. And the kids are gonna be nagging the adults, oh, but I want the new Mario, I like the Bing Bing Wahoo! And the parents are gonna end up caving in, spending a lot of money. That happens with toys. Have you seen toys? They're so expensive. They have always been really expensive. Even the ones that are not that good, sadly. Are these new toys? I suppose in a way they are, right? Kind of disappointing. And I don't think Mario Kart games are bad, okay? I played some of them. They're really fun. They're pretty good. They're not $80 good, okay? More of the company, I mean, the original creation was to allow availability. I don't see they are sticking to it. Oh. Yeah, well, that is true, I guess. That is true, but at the same time, once again, they have always been really greedy. I have complained about Nintendo for a long time. And on one hand, I do appreciate them making all the games available on online stores, right? How many times do I have to buy all of these old games? Sure, buying Castlevania NES when it was on the Wii made sense. Why do I have to buy it again for the Wii U, for the Switch 2, or even for the 3DS? How many times? This is enough. And then you try to emulate them? No, that's not allowed, you're so evil. You took my only game, now I'm going to start, there's no way. There's no way, when they're probably the most successful games console company nowadays. By action or inaction, because you're gonna tell me that Xbox or PlayStation are doing great. Xbox is dead. PlayStation 5 doesn't exist. Doesn't exist yet, and they're planning to release PlayStation 6. That's so funny to me. It's also really funny how they keep mentioning budgeting, right? And I do believe that they have budgets that are way too massive. How many times have we seen in just the last 2 years games that they release and they are massive flops, but games that have $200 million as budgets or even more? You have to wonder, where's this budget going to? I don't understand. When you have people from the companies telling you, oh, we're actually using a lot of AI, so shouldn't it be way cheaper to make games? What is going on? I don't understand. So we have here from the game business, this fucking guy. In the counter to director hopes AI revolution will allow him to make games faster. Are we really going to believe this guy? Well, he probably wants to make games faster. I can't believe that one. Okay, this is my first time in this site, so I don't really know too much about it. Whoever has opinions, okay. This is the guy speaking in first person. When I first clicked this, it led me pretty much to the end. Here, almost. So I'm not quite sure how this site works. I'm going to skim a little bit. Probably only gonna read the middle of the quotes from this envtuber guy. In 6 years since, the studio has doubled in size to 250 employees. And then you see the new Assassin's Creed. 2 hours of credits! I've seen games that are shorter than that. Since the beginning, I'm really surprised that so many people are surprised with the success of the game. Well, people were critical of other things. Since the beginning, it was absolutely sure that it's recipe for success. If we do it right, I like similar games. There are very few of them. Yeah, I think that's true. For some weird reason, nobody makes them that much anymore. Generally, we're in the same genre as The Witcher or Red Dead Redemption. Generally doing heavy work here. Don't think it's wrong, but Kingdom Deliverance seems a little bit more specific in its approach. Actually, we pitched the game to publishers as Red Dead Redemption with a sword 14 years ago. Just like Far Cry Hyrule. That was a good game. I didn't like it. It's a strong story, and that's where a lot of games today fail, in my opinion. The story has to be good, by which I mean cool characters that you can relate to. Oh, maybe having a good story is good, right? But the game has to be good. How many times have I said this recently? Way too many. It's a video game. It has to be a game. Story? Good. But the game has to be paramount. I guess today, when they have stories just like some feeling, some random bullshit, or they try to tell the player some message or something, that's funny coming from you. When you actually had to admit recently that, yes, in fact, you did add the message to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, even though you were really public about not doing so, or just claiming that, I guess. And every time a game like this one is published, it becomes very successful. It's weird that the very few people make them. If you're talking about the first one, sure. If you're talking about the second one, a lot of people, not only just because, the message, they were questioning why the game felt simplified. Wow. Like I've been saying for years already. I have a theory, of course, he said. If you look at the movies, at least in the past, Hollywood studios operate very differently than games companies. You have producers who choose some scripts, then they try to find money, and then they assemble a team and give a lot of control to the director. Basically, the people who control everything is the director and the producer. And the producers often give chances to very young and sometimes inexperienced people. Bryan Singer was very young when he did the first X-Men, for example. The movie? That was an interesting movie. Big 2000s in my opinion. They gave him a very important franchise, so Hollywood was, at least in the past, willing to risk and to try to do new stuff with new people. And they knew that it's about a good director rather than some committee. That's not entirely wrong. It's still extremely ironic coming from this guy. Well, in games you have a company and the support of people who are deciding stuff, and the director or writer is just one of them, and very often doesn't have the final word. That makes it a much bigger risk that it will become, basically, a corporate product rather than a piece of art. You know why this happens so much nowadays? Because you have a lot of people working on games. So you need more people at the top controlling everything. If you go for older games, sure, they're in comparison simple games because they might be 2D and whatnot, right? Limits of technology and all that. And you see the credits for, let's say, Dragon Quest 1 on the Game Boy Color, you see, wow, what is this? 15 to 20 people? Yeah, it's really easy to rending in with a single guy. If you had 250 employees, it's gonna be difficult. If you have upwards of 15,000 like some other companies have, it's impossible. As they usually say, too many cookies in the pot, it's not wrong. This environment also repels creative people a lot. For a big game that's similar to us, or Red Dead Redemption, or whatever, you need a lot of money, a lot of resources, much more than for a typical movie. Oh. I guess I don't know enough about the business to make a comment on that, but I'm curious if that's actually the case. It takes much longer, you can shoot a movie very quickly. There's a lot of post-production, of course, but you assemble a big team for a short time. While in games you have a large team for years. This work for hire that works in Hollywood doesn't work in games industry, it comes all from that. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. This is good, right? If this is good, and people work together for years, how do you have so much trouble? I don't know. The main writers are writing for non-existing audiences. This is so ironic. The culture wars that are here, a lot of people think that it's some evil management that's forcing the creators to do something. No, the management argument's kind of a copium, he began, but I would say it's the opposite. It's coming from the creators, actually. I would even dare to say that some companies aren't liking it and don't know what to do about it. This is so fucking ironic, once again, when this guy admitted recently that he, in fact, inserted the message on the game. And yes, I do believe that it is coming from the creators. It's not surprising, and it's really easy to see why this is happening. Because you don't really have the creators of old. You don't have, I don't know, dare I say, the gaming world. You don't have gamers like before. They don't really have the passion for games. They just see making games as a quick way of making money. And not even that nowadays, because they are actually losing money. But if you see all of those, how are they called? My lexicon is failing me right now. But they have some grants and whatnot from the government. Wow! Look at this! Like City Project Red, they did that. If you're a woman and you want to make games, we will pay you to learn from us. And that's bad. Because it's an incentive for people that are usually incentivized to make games. So you have people working in games that don't like games. That's stupid. And of course, you'll see a lot of people using this opportunity to push their propaganda. Not like this. But you can see now, even in Hollywood, the 80s or 90s, there were movies like E.T. set in some small town with quite normal people. Everybody can relate to them. And when you look at a lot of movies today, they're about people from California, rich people very often. They have very different problems to normal people. I would say that the creators are making movies about themselves. Oh, this is what we call foreshadowing. Using cliches that they see in other movies, and they start doing movies about regular people. I want to see a movie from Montana, for example. You should like it when there is a different setting. And the same can be applied to games. When you look at the games from the 90s, these kind of topics are and different genres where I would dare to say larger than today. Yes. This is also, if we're gonna talk about Hollywood, let's talk about Hollywood. If you're making a movie in Hollywood, you want to win an Oscar. And if you want to participate in the Oscars, you must have some quotas when you make these movies. You need specific amount of black people, Asian people, women people, gay people, all that. That's going to stifle creativity. I guess the last great movie was The Lord of the Rings. It was pretty good. If you have to add a bunch of photos nonsense to the actors and whatnot, and the story, it's going to collapse because it's going to be trash. Because you cannot make a faithful adaptation if you have all of those limitations. Not in this way, at least. And we also have the other thing. Is this foreshadowing? My goodness. The shadows, they're so big. We have what's known as millennial writing, which is so extremely boring. I don't like it. It's just, wow, look at this. Everything is just modern Marvel. But Marvel itself is already boring. Because you have like... How many are there right now? Almost 30, I bet. I had like 20 movies some years ago. Like, okay, but they all feel the same. This is just literally the same movie, but the characters look different. Wow, so cool. It's so boring. There's no creativity, because people cannot be creative. It's not because they just are outside of the norm or normal people. It's because it's California, and California is hell on earth. Let's be real. As we forth with the embrace the CEO, it's all about giving the students a lot of freedom. Bauer told us. We have a lot of trust and we could do basically whatever we wanted. There was some zero outside influence on the creative decisions on the game, which is great if it works, and when you're not insane. Can you really make good games if you're not insane? I understand that the corporation wants to have some control over the final product when it invests a lot of money, but generally it had a lot of freedom and it worked. Partially, I suppose. The more hard... There's much more bureaucracy. All the sayings that when you hire more people it doesn't mean more work gets done are actually true. It's from much more bureaucracy. Some of the things get even more complicated, and when you have fewer people... That's what he said! And I don't even need to work in this company to know, because it only makes sense. When you know everyone, you can just do stuff by talking to people. Now all of a sudden, you have meetings for everything in schedules and plans. It's definitely a slowdown. But I don't know the recipe. How to make it less complicated. This goes with the size of the project. As to see more risk in AAA. I can't agree with this, at least. I'm just guessing here. When you have a company that spends like $200 million on a game, is this guy me? I'm not this guy. They do a lot of versions, and when they are not happy, they start from scratch, which makes the game expensive. This is such a waste. You're not shitting money, you're bleeding money. If they just make more $50 million games, 3 will be flop, and 1 will make money, maybe. They're so afraid about the potential risks that they spend a lot of money on everything, and iterate too much, I would say. And then they could miss the ideal release date, times change, and people don't like the genre anymore, or stuff like that. Is this a Concord reference? So being faster, cheaper, and with more risk would probably could solve some of those issues. Faster, cheaper... I think that makes sense. Let's be real. These games that are so expensive, when they're released, they're not good, they don't look good, and they don't play good. It also happens that they want to make, nowadays, products for everyone. Literally everyone. And that's bad. That's never going to work. Because you cannot appease literally everybody. Because that's not how reality works. Some people are gonna like it, some people are not. And that's it. That's fine. You should find your target audience and call it a day. Well, you can always expand, right? But by being true to yourself, what kind of waters make people think about it efficiently? About efficiency, I suppose, right? It will change directions with genres, and we'll look at the industry with some fresh ideas. Hopefully the things we're talking about will change, that there will be more games that people want, and more risk will be taken. This is machine translation, I wouldn't know. I don't believe this guy speaks English though, so who knows. Hopefully some people who lost the spirit because of how industry works will return or start new companies and do new stuff. I would really welcome some fresh air and new stuff. Finally, the I talk here at the end. Ever since the last year was really tough for him working in Kingdom Come Deliverance too. I had some serious health issues from all the stress, he told us. I really need to slow down a little bit. It really annoys me that the games take so much time, because I have more ideas than I have time. There are a couple of projects that I would love to do, and I would love to prepare them properly. But it's not as chaotic. I hope that the AI revolution will help with this. In the future we will not be replaced by AI, but we will be helped by AI. Sure, it's a pipe dream. If you can be replaced, you will be replaced. Because AI will be easier to control and probably cheaper. A lot of the things could get easier and faster. It will be great if this would happen. I have a couple of big ideas that I would like to make that will require a lot of time and preparation. A couple of projects that, in my opinion, have as big potential as Kingdom Come Deliverance. The problem here with this sentiment, and I don't understand what he's talking about. And I'm not saying this guy is gonna fall for this, necessarily. But when you have ideas, if you want to make them really good, you have to polish them for a long time. That happened with the Kingdom Come Deliverance games, apparently, even though the second one was not as good as it should have been. Apparently the second part... Not second part, I wanted to say the second half, but it was like the last third of the game. Everything really fell apart from what I've seen, which is far from ideal, obviously. And if you're just gonna use AI, which is not saying that necessarily that's gonna happen, but it will happen eventually, you might release something that's actually lower quality than it should be. We can only wait and see how AI works in the long run, but I'm not a big fan of AI. Speaking of games, we're talking about games for a while today, I guess. Good games, bad games, just play what you enjoy, right? Then we have here PC Gamer. Former Dragon Age writer says Clear Obscure, Swedish 33 and Baldur's Gate 3 prove what's possible when a game is given time to cook. You cannot tell me that hold up. You cannot tell me, okay, that is having enough time to cook. I think this is about the narrative, and not way too many cooks in the pot, especially coming from Dragon Age. From what I've seen, from people that have played the newest Dragon Age, they mentioned that the game felt like kind of two games mashed together, and there were too many ideas without proper connections. This is interesting. True exceptional games don't just appeal to their audience. David Geider says they expand it. I mean, sure, but it really depends. What do you mean by expanding it? Dragon Age lead writer, David Geider, is not known to be shy about sharing his opinions, and so he did in April. Spring a month, what happened? Saying that Expedition 33 is kind of to JRPGs what Baldur's Gate 3 was to CRPGs. But it's not a JRPG. How many times do we have to go through this conversation? It's not a JRPG. It's French. And some people will say, well, you know, this style of Japanese RPGs. No. When you say JRPG, you think turn-based, but that is incorrect. When you say JRPG, I think anime. Because one of the first things that comes to mind when people say JRPGs is Tales-of games. They are not turn-based. They are still JRPGs. Because they come from the big J here. Yeah, fucking damn it. They keep diluting terms. Imagine that. Not everyone took the statement quite as he meant it, though, and so speaking recently to Games Radar, Getting clarified that what he meant was simply that both games are kind of love letters to their genre that allow what they've created to translate to a larger audience than what that genre normally hits. That's usually a bad idea. You don't know how many times I've seen people being like, oh, Baldur's Gate 3 looks really good, but why does it have to be turn-based? It's a D&D game. Not being turn-based when it's trying to emulate the feels of the TTRPG. It's by design, it has to be turn-based. The TTRPG is turn-based for obvious reasons. You cannot tell me you're a big fan of Baldur's Gate 3 when you completely ignore what Baldur's Gate 3 is. Just that guy from the other day. Oh, but the boss fights, they're so impossible. Citations. Examples. Never gonna happen. The scenes of Baldur's Gate 3 were amazing and kind of make a lie out of. I remember when I was at EA, there was a lot of investigation into how large is the RPG audience and how large is the auction audience and so forth. Gotta sell. And they would have an estimate that they say it caps out. The RPG audience caps out at about 5 million. That doesn't seem to be true when the game is good. What are these lies about turn-based RPGs? They keep saying this nonsense. It's clearly not true. When you release a really good turn-based JRPG, or just a turn-based RPG, a lot of people end up playing it, a lot of people end up enjoying it, because the game is good. And you had, I think it was 2023, before they released Final Fantasy 16, right? You had the producer, oh, but people don't like turn-based games anymore. That's why we had to pivot out from that genre. I'm like, bitch, it's not that people don't like turn-based JRPGs. It's not that people don't like turn-based Final Fantasies. It's that the games you're releasing are trash! That's the problem. Wow, look at this. Final Fantasy X, the best Final Fantasy, it's barely good. It's barely good. And then after that you had 12? Really weird, I didn't like it. I played for like 40 hours, I didn't like it, okay? You have 13, which was strong independent women that doesn't need no man. That's not me saying that, that was feminists, stark feminists, saying that to me, okay? It was also a straight line, seemed extremely boring. And you had 15, which was what? Kingdom Hearts? Sure, you had 11 and 14. I'm not going to count them because there are MMOs. So you keep moving away from your formula that works, and you keep selling less and less, and suddenly it's the formula's fault? No. What's wrong with you people? Stop this. Yes, to stop this. What happened with Baldur's Gate? What happened with Expedition 33? What happened with Metaphor Fantasio? All of those are turn-based RPGs, and a lot of people enjoy them, and a lot of people bought them. Just make a fucking good game. When the fake news, by the way, but when the announcement came out of, they're gonna remake Chrono Trigger, people were so happy. I was a little bit on edge, because it's modern day Square Enix. Thankfully, it was false, because I cannot really trust them anymore, right? But people like turn-based RPGs. Oh, what? Which are the best games of all time? Well, people will mention Half-Life 2, perhaps, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 6, Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest 3, maybe 8. Most of them are RPGs. Most of them are turn-based RPGs. You're lying to yourself. You just don't know how to make a proper turn-based RPG. That's the problem. It shouldn't be this difficult, but I guess it is. Good is very subjective. It doesn't always add up to success. Plenty of good games are overlooked or fail to meet some arbitrary sales goal for any number of reasons. Not least of which is the overwhelming number of good games out there. I forgot this PC gamer, and they're extremely homosexual. Among obvious examples, EA's own recent RPG epic, Dragon Age the Veilguard, which was well received by critics and players, but failed to put up sufficient numbers and maybe will mark the end of the series, at least for now. Is cesspit of hatred alive? Fight for them then, and die for their sins. It was well received by critics because they bought the critics with game keys. And players? Citation, please. I haven't seen actual players enjoying this game. Every single person I've seen that enjoyed a lot Dragon Age as a franchise said this game was unfettered ass, unredeemable crap. And then you see the clips and you're like, holy shit, what the hell is that? But it is PC Gamer. They have to keep batting for EA. Sad, pathetic. The guy is simply talking about the mature phenomenon of games that are truly exceptional rather than merely good. Look, if you really consider Dragon Age the Veilguard merely good, we're fucked. Dragon Age the Veilguard is not good. We could say that Final Fantasy X is good, and Final Fantasy X is dimensions above Dragon Age the Veilguard. We're never gonna have good games again at this rate. Fucking games journalists, a plague to mankind. I think there's such a thing as expanding the audience as opposed to treating the audience as this finite number of people, right? He said. Anything that's weird, Expedition 33 really does. I think it managed to take the elements of JRPGs, and I don't think it's doing a lot of new things, honestly. It's taking a number of more recent trends and kind of bundling them up in an interesting way that I think makes it very accessible to people who normally wouldn't play JRPGs. Very accessible. Okay, I will bite this extremely obvious bait. In which world is a JRPG not accessible? JRPGs, turn-based RPGs, are probably the most accessible games there are. They are turn-based, so you shouldn't need quick fingers. You could play with literally any kind of control. Or controller, I suppose. And if you fail, you can just grind. Sure, grinding has a cap, usually. But that's it. Very accessible. This is rolled in my brain already. Also, at the same time that it's very accessible to people who normally wouldn't play JRPGs, I don't think I would enjoy this game, because I don't like the parry and dodging mechanics. Even though they exist, and they have existed in older turn-based RPGs, I don't think they make sense for that kind of game. And maybe if I tried, I would actually like it. But as things are right now, I don't think I will. He said the successes of Clear Obscure and Baldur's Gate 3 also demonstrates what's possible when a game is given time to cook. Baldur's Gate 3 had an extended and very front-facing early access period. While Clear Obscure director Guillaume Brachet said earlier in May it would have taken years to get the project approved at his former company Ubisoft. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but do you know what else they have in common? They are European. They are not American. I'm not saying that Europeans make good games. I'm saying some Europeans make good games. Clearly others don't, like Ubisoft. They're also Canadian. God. Pick a struggle, please. Publishers want mass appeal. If you want to appeal to everybody, you appeal to no one. Oh, water is so good, everybody can drink it. Yeah, but it doesn't really have a taste, does it? A flavor, I suppose. They want to feel comfortable to risk it by imagining how the appeal translates to many different kinds of audiences, which you think often kinds of ends up diluting the very specific things a game can do. True and real. Like I said, what Baldur's Gate 3 did and what this petition does is, yes, they appeal very strongly to that one audience. It's so strong that it ends up pulling that audience. I'm not quite sure about that one. It's not because of the strong appeal to turn-based RPGs. Because of other stuff. Usually just aesthetic. He's not wrong. Coming up on 2 years after its full release, Baldur's Gate 3 remains among the most played games on Steam. While Clever Score has only been around for a month, it's right up there too. Posting enviable numbers for what should be rights, be a relatively niche RPG, and both are rolling with overwhelmingly positive research rates on top. We also need to mention that Baldur's Gate 3 released at the perfect time, because it was after a couple of years of the Cove, and on top of that, thanks to the Cove, a lot of people got a huge interest in D&D, thanks to stuff like Critical Role, and a lot of people couldn't really play TTRPGs at the time, because maybe they didn't have a group, or maybe they didn't really know how to properly play, which is understandable. So they could actually play the game, kinda, single player, thanks to Baldur's Gate 3. So the timing was absolutely perfect. I don't think it would have failed otherwise, but it was a huge success anyway. Oh my god, I'm so dry today. It's getting kinda hot. Might be time for short soon, actually. It's almost June, so that makes sense. But not all chefs are of the same ability. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And once again, it's not a case of giving enough time to cook. Concord was cooking for 8 years and was the biggest flop in modern times, and that's saying a lot. And then you have other games that have been cooking for a long time, and sometimes you have to wonder, but why? Is this actually gonna be good? How curious. So we have this here from GTA 6 alerts. GTA 6 tech is going to be next level. Here's the top 10 patents owned by Take-Two Interactive that will make the game ahead of its time. It's wrong when Nintendo does it. But it's so cool when Take-Two does it. I don't think so. I have a bunch of examples here. Lifelike characters in GTA 6 patent this number. Let characters bend and move naturally based on poses. Think smoother animations for NPCs and players, making every chase or fight feel real. This is gonna be constant, but feel real. It's a game, it doesn't have to feel real, in my opinion. Sweat, blood, rain, and water in GTA 6 pattern this. Simulates fluid flow on 3D surfaces. Expect realistic sweat, blood flow, puddles, and wet streets in the sunshine state. Everything is just aesthetics. Seamless NPC movement in GTA 6 pattern this. Uses a road network graph for smooth virtual navigation. No more clunky NPCs, pedestrians, and car traffic will feel alive and natural. Top tier graphics in GTA 6 patent this. Improved graphics rendering GTA 6. Expect sharper details, better lighting, and smoother performance for that massive open world. And I understand that a game like GTA 6 aims to look a little bit like real life. Continuous level of details GTA 6 patent this enables continuous levels of detail for models in GTA 6. Buildings, cars, NPCs will look crisp up close or far away. You better invest in Bitcoin if you want to have a good computer for this, I suppose. Forget loading screens in GTA 6 with this patent. And let's players move between GTA 6 online sessions without loading screens, join friends or explore freely with no interruptions. All the post predictions in GTA 6 use motion capture and AI to predict body part movements, precise hand animations for characters, and NPCs will make every gesture pop. Transactions in GTA 6 patent this. Manage transactions in GTA 6 world. Think of smaller heists, purchases, or online trades with secure custom functions. Dynamic character movements. Use data-driven blocks for animations in GTA 6. Characters adapt to any situation like running, fighting, or dancing without rigid coding. Is this AI too? I guess I can believe that one. No cheating in GTA 6 Online. This new patent hides game variables to stop hackers. Fair play for everyone in multiplayer. Say goodbye to cheaters ruining your session. They will find a way. I bet they will. And on bonus optimization. These two patterns use metadata to load assets into GTA 6 through the world. Expect a detailed, vibrant open world with less lag. Everything is just about aesthetics. Gaming has been about aesthetics for a long time. And I don't think that's actually really bad for the hobby. And sure, having good graphics, it's pretty good, it's pretty appealing and all that. But I don't care about graphics. I don't care enough about graphics at least. I need good mechanics. That's what I live for. I love mechanics in video games. And I don't think this is gonna be it, Luigi. Once again, they want to translate real life to a video game. But you also have people fleeing real life into video games, and that's also really valuable. I do enjoy games for what they are, and I think that's fine. I do enjoy fiction, I do enjoy anime style, I do enjoy different styles. They don't have to be anime or trying to imitate real life. But this strange obsession with reality keeps pushing people to make games that feel uncanny, and at the end of the day, ugly. Because they completely lose their artistic vision. I think we're gonna go over the time today, by the way. But this is not the only thing we have from GTA 6 today. Take-Two scrubs DEI efforts from financial report ahead of GTA 6 release. But I thought DEI was dead. How could this happen? It's not dead. It's never going away. They're just changing terminology. They're digging deeper. Take-Two Interactive has quietly scrubbed all reference to diversity and inclusion from its latest annual reports to investors. Just for reports, okay? This phenomenon is increasingly becoming a trend, with a broad array of companies making the same adjustment in line with unfortunate new policies in a country trying to make its own mistakes everyone else's problem. Wow! My goodness, look at these guys. Bunch of fucking commies. As reported by Stephen Tillo by GameFile, Rockstar Games' parent company is 2025 thinking filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission submitted Tuesday revealed significant changes in how the company presents its workplace values compared to previous years. Most notably, Take-Two has completely removed reference to LGBTQ-related awards that were prominently featured in past reports. Why do you have gay awards if you're making games? What is the gay superpower? I don't understand. These changes mirror a growing trend among major American corporations distancing themselves from diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Others including Disney, Google, GM, and Intel have all recently deleted or softened their DEI language in their corporate filings. All of the language, they are digging deeper. We've seen this many times before. The modifications appear strategic done by obligation rather than choice. In the company's 2024 report, Take-Two proudly featured the section titled Diversity, Equity and Inclusion. They began with a clear statement: "We firmly believe that diverse teams are more valuable and effective then that and that diversity is key to our success. How is being black or being gay gonna help you make a game? Fast forward to the 2025 report, and the company has completely rebranded that section as Community and Engagement. Surely it's all literally the same. The updated language now reads, "We firmly believe that diversity of thought drives the innovation that is integral to our success." This is true, it's not good enough. It's never good enough! For far too long! You have done this bullshit. I will not believe this. This doesn't seem like an actual change of heart. The shift from promoting diverse backgrounds to emphasizing diversity of thought, as with language increasingly adopted by corporations seeking to avoid potential political or legal complications. Perhaps most telling is what's missing internally from the report. Take-Two has dramatically shortened its list of workplace accolades, removing mentions of awards received from LGBTQ organizations. Why is this important? Why is this important? It's so extremely funny, actually. Because constantly you see detractors of positions similar to mine, right? Saying stuff like, well, they don't mean diversity as more gay people or more black people. They just mean people with different skills. Why do they have gay awards? It doesn't make any sense. It's not about diversity of skills. Industry observers know that timing coincides with recent actions from the Justice Department and Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which earlier this year stated that DEI initiatives, policies, programs, or practices may be unlawful if they involve an employer or other covered entity taking employment action motivated in whole or in part by employees or applicants' race, sex, or another protected characteristic. Yes, you will stop being racist. Imagine my shock. The entertainment industry, including video games, were caught in the crossfire of the cultural debates of recent years. Many developers faced backlash from certain vocal minorities for incorporating diverse characters and storylines. Certain vocal minorities. It's not about diverse characters and storylines. It's that they don't make any sense in the context. They're pushing for propaganda. At the same time, others were on the receiving end of criticism for not doing enough to promote inclusion. You cannot win. You can never win. Take-Two's decision comes at a tumultuous time. GTA 6 is one of the most highly anticipated games of all time. It has set a new record in terms of views in entertainment history with its second trailer and continues to draw eyeballs. Some of them for the wrong reasons, like mine. Ahead of its release on May 26, 2026, GTA 6 is drawing concerns about potentially dialing down the humor that made the GTA franchise so iconic. Surely this won't kill the franchise. Saints Row is still good, right guys? The lost character and location details found on the updated GTA 6 website suggest that Rockstar has not changed its approach at all. I'll believe it when you say it. With over a year left before the release of GTA 6, I guess that's true. It's unclear how these changes can affect the game that, as per Take-Two CEO Stuart Selnick, is being polished to perfection. As for Take-Two, the company hasn't announced any concrete changes to its internal policies or hiring practices. Because they're still doing the same. They just changed the language to have plausible deniability. That happens a lot. That's what you need when you're a fucking scoundrel and you keep hiring people by being a fucking racist. You need plausible deniability. No, come on, I'm not being racist. This guy here was the best. He was the best for the job. Are we sure? Are we sure about that? Strange. And since we're deep in the DEI talks, let's keep going forward. It's from That Park Place. Sweet Baby Inc. exposed. YouTuber uncovers shocking alleged origin story and hidden founder erased from history. So apparently, Sweet Baby Inc. has direct connections to the government. Funny enough, I haven't gone through this, so real-time reaction. It's gonna be great, guys. A new exclusive from YouTube channel Coffee Therapy, hosted by Master of the TDS and Writing Raven, has exploded across gaming circles, falling back recording on the origin of one of the most controversial narrative consultancies in the industry, Sweet Baby Inc. Long positioned as a boutique firm dedicated to uplifting marginalized voices through storytelling, the company now faces devastating allegations. Its very foundation is a fabricated cover story that may have government roots. I think it makes sense. It was really easy to find a bunch of government grants thanks to the Ghost Baby and the other side that was also either ghost or baby related. Direct links to the government. I showed that more than a year ago. I truly hope this is something more than that. Video, originally titled The End of the Sweet Baby Lie, goes far beyond the typical criticism of the AI influence in gaming. It claims to uncover a buried founder, falsified company records, and what could be deep ties to the Canadian government. What's alleged in the video is true. Sweet Baby Inc.'s rise in the gaming industry was not organic, but orchestrated. Wouldn't surprise me. Red and Raven ready for that Park Place. Surely they didn't have ulterior motives here. Sweet Baby Inc. claims it was founded in 2018 by Kim Belair, David Bedard, and Ariadne Gillivray, I suppose? French Canadian, just Canadian, I have no idea. Three friends with the dream of reforming game narratives. The press-friendly origin story of Sweet Baby Inc. has been repeated in interviews, panels, and keynotes for years. Also, did you know that Kim Belair belonged to Ubisoft before? Don't know about the other two guys. But Gothic Therapy dug into Canadian government filings and discovered that the real story begins with someone else entirely. A man named Terence Jason Huberts. According to incorporation records, Terence Jason Huberts was listed on day one as vice president, director, and shareholder. His name appears as one of the actual founding members of the company in 2018, alongside Kim Belair and Ariadne Gillivray. But there's a twist. Hubert's name was quietly scrubbed from the record a year later, in a corporate correction. His shares were retroactively reassigned to Belair, effectively rewriting the past and removing him from history. Interesting. That's something I didn't know. Bedard was only brought to the company in 2020 as COO, years after the company's incorporation, yet he has frequently been referred to as a co-founder. This timeline simply doesn't add up, and that's just the beginning. On May 21st, 2018, from a single Montreal condo unit, 1414 Rue, community apartment 101, it just looks fake, which is funny. The companies were incorporated by Terence Jason Huberts. One was a number company, 107-92357 Canadian Inc., which will dissolved in 2021. The other, Sweet Baby Inc. Same man, same condo, same day. One was discarded. The other grew into immediate darling, helping shape AAA games under the guise of narrative justice. Yet the man who started it all, completely gone. No wasted mention, no interviews, no social presence, no credit. Gothic Therapy calls it what it appears to be, erasure. The Vanishing Man. The deeper Gothic Therapy dug into Terence Jason Huberts, the strange things became. There's no LinkedIn, no public records, no explanation for why a co-founder would be wiped from existence. But then, give me a potential clue. In the late 1980s, a man named Terry Huberts served as a member of British Columbia's Legislative Assembly and Minister of Parks. In his past interviews from that time, he publicly mentioned having a son named Jason. Interesting. That name match isn't trivial, neither is what came next. Gothic Therapy uncovered that one of Terence Jason Hubert's companies listed his business address at 475 Elgin Street in Ottawa, while Terry Huberts, years later, operated a veterinary clinic at 475 Broadmead Village in Victoria. Two entirely different cities, but same suite number, 475. According to the channel, the statistical odds of these overlapping names, family connections, and address numbers aligning by pure coincidence is 1 in 100 million. Well, I don't know how they got the number, but it truly feels strange. The framework that changed everything. In 1989, as Minister of Parks, Terry Howard authored a government policy framework that aligned how private contractors could be embedded within public systems quietly, efficiently, and without public scrutiny. Wow! Doesn't that sound familiar? Holy shit! Ah, but this is so new. 1989. We're so late to the fucking party. If there's Jason Hubert's the same man, or the son of that man, then Gothic Therapy alleges Sweet Baby Inc. may have been structured from the beginning to operate similarly as an embedded narrative force within game companies. A consultancy with a mission to not just to tell stories, but to control them, which demonstrably is what's happening. They are crediting them as writers, not just consultancy, which is really telling in my opinion. If this is the same man, then Sweet Baby Inc. wasn't built to tell stories, Master of the TDS said in the video. It was created by the Canadian government from day one, structured by an insider disguised as a consultancy used to control the narrative. They've done long enough, but maybe this is just the example we know it goes back to this policy. Who knows what's been happening in Canada for the past almost 40 years. I don't think it's surprising when you see their tendency to go to communism. Have you seen Castro Jr.? Come on now, guys. I also have more stuff for Canada today, so stay strapped. It's not gonna be fun. The government response that raises more questions. Following the video's release, Gothic Therapy sent a formal request to the British Columbia Legislative Assembly asking for Terry Hubert's full legal name. The response? They couldn't confirm it. Huh. Certified by the Chief Electoral Officer after each election, and then providing the certificate of the election is the name used in parliamentary documents. Interesting. Because candidates are not required to use their legal names on ballots or in parliamentary documents, why the fuck not? You're the government! The assembly could neither confirm nor deny whether Terry Huberts was short for Terrence Jason Huberts. Don't you think there's a big problem when we're talking about bureaucracy, especially from the government? Strange. In the words of Gothic Therapy, the truth was never meant to be found, but we found it anyway. Perhaps. The alias that wasn't supposed to be found. Even more chilling, there's more? Gothic Therapy discovered that Sweet Baby Inc. registered the second business alias, designed Sweet Baby, on the exact same day as the original filing. It has no public use, no branding, and no clear purpose. The theory? It was a lifeboat identity. A backup plan guessed the first brand faced collapse. Oh, oh, moshiroi na. What is the true origin of Sweet Baby Inc? If what Gothic Therapy revealed is accurate, Sweet Baby Inc. is not the grassroots, just distributed narrative firm it claims to be. It's a company with a falsified origin, a buried founder, and possible ties to Canadian government operations. Once again, this would explain why in the... I don't remember the name of the website, it's been more than a year, come on now. Of the... what's the terminology? Brain! Work with me a little bit, please! You know, the people that were actually giving money to Sweet Baby Inc., they mentioned Ghost Babies, and there was another company with a similar name that was being run by literally the same people, and they had ties to Gamergate. In that website, you only need to scroll down to the bottom, click a link, and they would give you a huge list of government grants from different, I think they're provinces in Canada and whatnot, for diversity purposes in entertainment. When it got to them, a lot of them were already expired because they were annual, But you still had a huge listing from the government of Ontario, the government of Alberta, the government of Ottawa, so on and so forth. And I bet that is still out there. And if it's not, fuck you. I know I did an archiving of that. You cannot get ahead of me, baby. So, I don't think it's surprising to say this. The erasure of Terence Jensen Hubert's, the writing of company files, the statistical overlap with a government official, the second secret alias, all of it paints a potential picture, not of idealism, but of orchestration, and not the music one. People have speculated that Sweet Baby Inc. might be receiving government funding. This is demonstrably true. Well, maybe not demonstrably, but it's like 89.76% clear that's the case. If you just see the websites. I did it on a stream last year, okay? I went through this rabbit hole. And I think I found more information than your average person, which is funny. But if this connection is real, then the company wasn't just funded by the Canadian government. It was built by a former government official from the very beginning. And when that truth threatened the image, they rewrote it. Well, yeah, you didn't want the government in your business, right? This is not China. I say, looking at Canada, looking even more red. Not because it didn't matter, written ripping at them. Because it mattered too much to let you see. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. You don't want to see. I want to see. Show me. Show me. Show me your little and dirty secrets. The gaming companies are still working with Sweet Baby Inc. They may want to ask, who really funded this company? What's the origin of Sweet Baby Inc? And what exactly are you letting them write? Do you believe the report of the origin of Sweet Baby Inc? I think it's believable. I would need to see the the proper sources and whatnot. In Canadian psyop, and just when you didn't think they could get any worse. Yeah, most evils come from the government. This goes double for the Canadian government. Canada is really bad. Do I need to bring up the next Canadian article? Because I can. It's even worse than this. You know what? Sure. You didn't hate Canadians enough. But yeah, they have obvious ties to, you know, government and whatnot, especially when we talk about money. And that's a big problem, right? That money is from everyone. Well, not from me, I'm not Canadian, but that's taxpayer money, that's what I'm trying to say. So, Homoshiroi. And then they will call you a conspiracy theorist. It's not a conspiracy, it is true. And if you think Canada can't get any worse, let me show you this. Canada moves to begin euthanizing children without parental consent. You also sites like the AP News telling you, no, this is wrong. This is completely wrong. This is not true. This is not happening. And that's right, it's not happening yet. But they're actually pushing for this. The globalist Canadian government. Okay, you cannot blame me. They said here. Globalist Canadian government has launched a campaign to promote a new push to begin euthanizing children with mental health issues without their parents' consent. What a humane society this is. The new scheme seeks to open up the country's medical assistance in dying made to children. Why do you have a government that lets, just by being crass here for a second, kids kill themselves? That's pretty messed up. It is extremely messed up. And wait, because it's gonna get even worse if you haven't seen this article. Just in this paragraph, look at this. Liberal Party Prime Minister Mark Carney's government describes those children who could be eligible for assisted suicide using the alarmingly vague term mature minors. Oh, she was so mature for her age. I wonder, where have we seen this kind of narrative before? Yes, this is a stupid pipeline. This is a stupid slippery slope. The slippery slope fallacy Is it a fallacy if it keeps happening? I don't think so. I truly believe this is a covert push to legalize pedophilia too. Which is even worse. Get raped or kill yourself. Is this 4chan? No, this is the Canadian government. Sheer insanity. And they will tell you, no, you're wrong. Why are you pushing against this? I don't know. I'm a human supremacist. Can you blame me? I do happen to be human, allegedly. According to the Canadian government's promotional material, children with mental health issues would be euthanized without parental consent under the expanded laws. Wow, you're sad? The government said, kill yourself. I thought that was low tier god, what the fuck? I don't understand that in this stupid world we live in, there are many problems with mental health. Some of them make sense, some of them maybe not so much, but these problems exist. And instead of treating them normally, no, kill yourself. Why the fuck would you do that? Did you know that you cannot respawn in real life? I haven't seen that happening, well, only once, okay? I don't think Jesus counts. It was a one-time event, okay? He was cheating. He stopped working at the game. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with Canada? What's okay with Canada at this point? The move to expand the eugenics program... eugenics? It's not wrong. To mature minors was real and flights distributed by the Canadian government. By the fucking government. Not a big fan of the government. Not a big fan of the government. 30 on 30. Something like that, right? I'm not good with those memes. Jasmine Lane, the host of Over-Opinionated, funny name, shared the flyers on social media that were being circulated in Manitoba. In a post on Twitter, Lane wrote, "You have to be a special kind of demonic to advocate for made for young, vulnerable people and people who are suicidal." Yes, I think they have the tweet here. It's a little bit small. We can make it bigger. This would essentially remove the minimum age of eligibility. Okay, I'm not a Greek philosopher, okay? Though a lot of the shit they say seems, wow, so strange, so new. And I'm just echoing words from Greek philosophy, which is really funny. How many times have I said, maybe not on your stream, I don't think that happened too much. This is not a new idea. They were talking about this thousands of years ago in ancient Greece. Funny how that happens. We have in this modern world we live in, to be considered an adult, you need a minimum age, usually between 18 and 21, depends on the country. Some countries are strange, might have 20, like Japan. I think they changed it to 18 last year, a couple of years ago. It's not random. I do believe that the age of becoming an adult is, biologically speaking, too low. On average, your... is it the frontal cortex, I think? On average, finish developing by the age of 25. And you have people at 18 being fucking clowns, make no mistake about it. When I was 18, I was a fucking clown too. I was not suicidal. I'm still not suicidal, okay? It was the Clintons. So, what I'm trying to say, this strange concept that's so obviously real, that maturity and wisdom come with age. Have you heard of the wisdom teeth? They're related to that. They don't have magical powers, I don't think. But maybe they do. So, to act as an adult, you need to be an adult. And since you're a biological creature, you have biological processes that you can use to identify if someone is an adult or not. This is out of the window completely. And they will call you a pedophile. No, I don't want lower ages to becoming adult. I want higher ages, because younger people are becoming too stupid for their own good. I say this as a former young person, okay? I do have experience in the field. The government committee also suggests that parents may not be consulted and will need to consent to their child's death be made. So, the government can come in and say, well, not even say, I was about to say, they're gonna say, we're gonna kill your kid. No, they're just gonna do it. And they're not gonna tell you. This is anti-human to an extreme level. When they say this is demonic, they're not wrong. However, the vagueness of the term mature could open up the scheme to children of all ages. A really mature 5-year-old. God, sounds so disgusting. The fire goes on to argue that, according to the Canadian government, killing children without parental consent is an example of protecting the most vulnerable citizens. Protecting the most vulnerable citizens by killing kids. Sometimes I consider myself to be evil. I could never match the government, especially the Canadian one. Oh my goodness. They're not gonna feel bad if they're dead. I do believe being dead is actually worse than being depressed. Children are uniquely vulnerable, the informational pamphlet says. Canada's first priority must be to provide high-quality medical care for children. Yes. Don't kill them! I guess we can open this one. Not a big fan of the government. And they have it here. Only 1 in 10 people will wait more than 4 months for counseling. The waiting period for May is only 3 months. Cool. I think this pamphlet is against the government, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I do believe this is real. I can close that. Beginning March 2027, the government will begin euthanizing Canadians suffering from mental illnesses. I'm pretty sure they also want to euthanize, what's the proper term? Homeless people, which is a way of dealing with them, I suppose. Continuing to bizarrely invert reality, the pamphlet states... Oh no, the pamphlet is just sheer propaganda. Interesting. Hopelessness and the desire to end one's life can be a symptom of some mental illness. So we're gonna feed on the mental illness by killing you. Fine continues to by promoting suicide as a faster alternative than waiting for medical treatments. It is faster. It is also final. Essentially, the government is advising citizens that suicide is more efficient than the Canadian healthcare system. What a phrase! What a phrase to read. 1 in 10 people will wait more than 4 months for counseling, the document reads. The waiting period for MAID is only 3 months. I'm already hearing about people asking for MAID because they don't have the support needed to live. Dying with Dignity Canadian website noticed that currently Canada's law on medical assistance in dying, MAID, requires the applicants must be 18 years of age or older. We live in a parody, but it's not funny. In many jurisdictions across Canada, mature minors already have the right to make important decisions regarding their healthcare. If this about trans kids, which is also really disgusting to say, Dying with Dignity Canada believes mature minors should be allowed the right to choose male. The site continues. But guys, this slippery slope is not real. Next, the website cites a 2023 Ipsos poll claiming that 71% of people across Canada support the ability for mature minors to request and be considered for MAID. 71% of people across Canada think that the government should kill kids. Follow the criteria are met under the law. You know what? Never kill yourself. Cannot get better after you die. This strong push by the Canadian government highlights the anti-human agenda being pushed by the globalist ruling class. And I say this, and they will call me names, they will call me a conspiracy theorist. It's not a theory, it's quite literally happening. It's quite literally happening. Thanks to the government. It's not something I would like to see, but I'd rather see it and know it exists before it's too late. What a trip, man, what a trip. What a fucking trip. You don't hate the government enough. My god. On one hand, you can celebrate they're actually killing commies, but not like this. Not like this, okay? I'd rather them become better. What a thing to say. Speaking of people you don't hate enough, this is gonna be much better than Canadians dying, okay? We have a really interesting developing on social media this past couple of days. This more... We're going from you hate to see it to you love to hate it. At least for me. So, Bonding into Comics released this article. Adi Shankar was unhappy with Devil May Cry 5 because it took his spotlight away from his Netflix series. I thought the franchise was dead. I thought I was bringing this thing back. And before we get into the article, it's the usual length. We can see the actual development now. I don't like Adi Shankar. What else is new? I'm going to stop the music for a second here because we actually have a clip. We had this guy. Oh, this selling is false. Fabricating quotes is not journalism. And you know what? That is true. Fabricating quotes is not journalism. However, hi Mr. Shankar. The quote was taken directly from your podcast, as relayed by you at this mark, 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 22 seconds. If you'd like to offer clarification on your statement, we'd be happy to publish it in full. Please let us know.
I'm passionate about Devil May Cry. Like, I love this thing.
Yeah.
I am passionate, by the way. We'll see how this is fake and lame.
And I love this niche thing.
I love this niche thing. Devil May Cry was never huge here. It was never niche. And it was not as big as in the US.
And now I can take it and hopefully blow it up to a point where I can expand it and there'll be more of it.
Expand it and make more of it. Sure.
Yep.
Right? So and I didn't know that there was a Devil May Cry 5 coming out.
I didn't know there was a Devil May Cry 5 coming out. If this is true, and apparently this is the case, that means he got the green light to make the series in 2018, before Devil May Cry 5 was announced, which is going to raise different questions, but that's for later. I want to finish this clip first.
You didn't know?
No.
Wow.
I got actually unhappy.
I got unhappy
when they so I signed the deal and I'm like, yeah, great, I'm doing it. And then they're like, good news, we have Devil May Cry 5 coming out.
Were you hoping to...
Hold out. This is golden. This is golden. The question.
Coming out.
Were you hoping to play it before doing...
Were you hoping to play it before doing the show?
Your adaptation, is that what you're saying? Or just...
No, I actually thought the franchise was dead.
No. I thought the franchise was dead. Well. Would you look at that? So much for a fan. So much for someone that's so passionate about it.
Oh, I got you.
This was my thing. Like I like Dino Crisis.
Don't touch Dino Crisis.
I see.
And I thought I was bringing this thing back, and I'm like, oh, this is like a modern fucking thing. Like this is ongoing. Then I should have done Street Fighter.
Pretty interesting. Really interesting thing to say. And what I was trying to get at with the production being a thing for so long, 2018, it's been a while. Sure, we had the coup in the meantime and whatnot. This show was in the making for 7 years. And it released what, like 10 episodes, if I'm not mistaken? Why does it look so bad? Why does it look so ugly? And it was the same with Castlevania, okay? Oh, but it's so good! It's so fantastic! Oh, the animation, it's so big! And then you look at the animation, and I'm like, but it's using a loop of 3 frames. Dante's Code is flowing at the glorious 3-frame loop. You know what has a 3-frame loop? The GIF I made for my starting screen. And I'm not an artist, so that's really funny. But it shows that this guy just wants to get a dead IP to bring it back. Wow, it's so good. Look at me. It's alive thanks to me. And if we scroll a little bit, we're gonna have a familiar face. That's me! So that's why they went for Castlevania. I hate the being necromancy with a burning passion. And I actually do. I actually hate when they do that. Because they're just parading the corpse around, acting like it's alive when they don't understand anything about it. But there's more. There's more. Because you have this guy was just crashing out on Twitter yesterday. Yes, 100% accurate. We have a guy here, running defense for Adi Shankar. And, you know, shit's dire when you have to retort to somebody defending you because you cannot defend yourself. What did this guy say? Does he speak about DMC5 taking the spotlight away from his Netflix series after release somewhere in the podcast? No, that's not a big deal. Because he may have a problem with the assumption that Helling makes not the actual thing he said. He can be unhappy a new game was coming out because he prefers finding about the franchise ideas and creating new things with them. It may have nothing to do with taking the spotlight away from his show. So, if so much as insinuates what your headline says, I show a clip of that too. Otherwise, your headline is drawing a conclusion he didn't actually make, and that's likely his problem. Okay. 100% accurate. Even if that's the case, even if this pathetic excuse here from Foot Thumb is true and real, it's not a pathetic excuse that he's using for plausible deniability. Adi Shankar, do you really think this makes you look good? Or even better in any way, shape or form? You're grave robbing IPs. You squirming little worm. To inject your bullshit. To inject yourself. Oh, but Castlevania was so good. Castlevania was ass. And they will tell you, the first 2 seasons were pretty decent. And that's because Adi Shankar was there. No. The first 2 seasons were not as bad as everything else. Thanks to Iga being there. Because he made the fucking games. Some of the games at least. Had nothing to do with Adi Shankar. And you could see the writers on the wall already. Look. Trevor Belmont being called Trevor, even the Japanese dub, that's a red flag. He's drunk, he's useless. He's supposed to be the hero because he's the Belmont. He's an afterthought mostly. Church being evil, this is not Ecclesia. Different organization. And the worst of all. But look at Dracula. Look at Dracula, poor little guy. Of course, Dracula is just a tragic villain. Because the church killed his wife. Now, Dracula at that point had been the Lord of Darkness, the Demon King, if you will, for 3 centuries, 300 years. He sold his soul to become immortal. That's not a good guy. And then you also had everything else, like Alucard being raped, the League of Extraordinary Female Vampires, and whatnot. And sure, maybe Adi Shankar wasn't there anymore, but you couldn't tell me the first 2 seasons were good. You couldn't tell me Devil May Cry was good. I'm sick and tired of this guy. I keep picking the mic. I'm sorry. I'm getting too passionate. I'm actually passionate about this. We can get back to this. Contrary to the genuine hype most fans felt about finally receiving a new series entry, Netflix's Devil May Cry showrunner Adi Shankar has admitted that he was genuinely upset with Capcom's decision to make Devil May Cry 5, as he believed his animated adaptation would have received a Envtuber prize of reviving what he thought was a dead franchise. It was not really dead. Last game, even though, sure, it was divisive as fuck, DMC Devil May Cry, was 2013, it was just 5 years difference. They take their time when they make games. It was not really that dead. Sorry about cut 10, Aigasa. That's just your self-centered interpretation. Shankar, who many may also recognize as the showrunner behind Netflix's Castlevania and Captain, that's a typo, Laserhawk, in Blood Dragon Remakes adaptations, compared his frustrations with Nero, Dante, and V's big adventure during May 13th episode of his Ask Addy Anything podcast. I'm gonna ask you to stop. Get some help. During having been thrown to the subject of Devil May Cry's current lighting by the episode's guest, current All Elite Wrestling Ring champion Kenny Omega. Guess a lot of people like this guy. I don't know a lot of things about wrestling. He seems like a cool dude, I don't know. Shankar took a moment to regale his fellow Captain aficionado with the animated series production origin story. Timestamp, this is earlier, funny enough. You know, I actually went into Capcom not to get DMC. Red flag. Is this the Rings of Power again? He told Omega. Had a meeting with Capcom and their guy, senior licensing director Taki Enomoto, was there. He's a very sweet gentleman. He's been there for a very long time. Just years later, other than other people in the room. And they're like, we want to work with you. You're very talented. I'm like, oh, thank you. Then you say, I want to do Dino Crisis. They're like, why Dino Crisis? He continued. I'm like, because it's sick, bro. God, so unprofessional. And they're whispering, and they're like, look at how I'm dressed, like a DMC character. And they're like, what? They really cannot believe your fucking audacity of being this unprofessional with them. They're Japanese, they're usually really professional. They're looking at me, they're looking at my dress, and they're like, I feel like you're a better fit for Devil May Cry, says Shankar. And I go, okay, yeah. Because in my mind, Devil May Cry was a... Shankar at this point makes a hand gesture suggesting that DMC was a bigger property. From there, going slightly off topic, with a discussion regarding Shankar's own rankings of Capcom titles. For the curious, he believes Street Fighter to be the studio's crown jewel IP. Well, he's not wrong. Street Fighter has always been really big. The showrunner ultimately admitted that when it came to deciding which franchise to adapt, he had to ignore the numbers. Sure thing. Monster Hunter, you're absolutely right. Numbers-wise, eclipses everything. Today, and for the wrong reasons. Because the last game is probably the worst in a long time. He told Omega, but I'm passionate about Devil May Cry. I love the thing. Well, they're quite the same thing. At this point, Shankar then revealed to his guest that when he agreed to helm the Netflix adaptation, he not only outright didn't know that there was a Devil May Cry 5 coming out, but upon learning this news, he got actually unhappy about the entire situation. This is the same, we saw the clip. Doesn't go that she have done Street Fighter, which he likewise believed to be a time franchise, when he signed down to Devil May Cry in 2018. I don't think this is correct. I think he was trying to say that Street Fighter was more alive, so if I wanted to do something that was alive, I'd rather do Street Fighter. Because it was bigger, I bet. He said it here. The crown jewel IP, after all. Interestingly, despite his apparent displeasure with Devil May Cry 5, Shankar still opted to use its themes for both Nero and Virgil, Devil Trigger, and Bird Light respectively. Though, bizarrely, he had to use the formers as Dante's theme. I mean, it's also Johnny Young Bosch voicing Dante instead of Nero, so that's really funny. And okay at best series on its own, but a genuine insult when compared to its source material. The first season of Shinkar's Devil May Cry is now streaming on Netflix, and sadly, has already been confirmed to be receiving a season 2. Make no mistake about this. It has not been confirmed to be receiving a season 2. They had the season 2 already made. They just couldn't have to have 2 seasons. They usually do that, and they have been doing that for quite some time already. So, no surprises here. Still as, I do agree, still as that they're gonna keep releasing trash, but what can you do, honestly? Sad but true, as they say. There we go. I think that was lagging a little bit. So, you know what? Fuck you, Audition Car. And I guess we can come here. He was crashing out. He was truly crashing out. Like when people were criticizing him for adding Asmongold to the show, right? So he was just spamming shit, as he always does when he's crashing out. This happens every single time. So it looks like he wants to be the bootleg universe master here, but he cannot take any criticism because this guy is extremely weak and pathetic. That's when you have people saying, "Oh, but this guy is just a Trump supporter. He's so evil. He's an evil right-winger." Do you really think this fucking guy is in any way, shape, or form a right-winger? No. Once again, how are you seeing the shows he makes? They are not for right-winger people, because that's not what he believes. He's trying to look like a Trump supporter because Trump is nowadays the president of the old USA of A. Okay? This guy, I don't think this guy has an actual personality, aside from I want to insert myself into big things. That's it. That's the end. That's so sad. And I truly hope they stop giving this fucking guy work on these big IPs from, especially from the East. If it's from the West, they kinda get much worse than that, right? This is the kind of guy that wants to get adaptations for Blast Blue, for fucking Berserk. Do you really expect this guy to understand anything about Berserk? It's impossible. He knows nothing. It's gonna be a disaster. And as some people have been saying, this guy is just a fucking plant, so he will be failing upwards. It is that bad. Time is it. And we're actually going over time a little bit today, it's fine. We have more stuff. We have more time today. I don't know how to do a proper transition for this. So, don't you dislike the current thing? I don't know, it's so general. Let's keep talking about the AI, shall we? From R10, yeah, this is actually an archive because the site wasn't loading today, I don't know why. Adobe to automatically move subscribers to pricier AI-focused tier in June. This strange obsession with AI, man, I just don't get it. Subscribers to Adobe's multi-app subscription plan, Critical All Apps, will be charged more starting on June 17th to accommodate for new generative AI features. Ah, my God. Wasn't Adobe the ones that wouldn't let you uninstall without accepting their user agreements? And they also had renewable licenses for hundreds of dollars. I remember that. Yeah, fucking damn it, bunch of clowns. Adobe's announcement, spotted by Make Use Of, says the change will affect North American subscribers to the Creative Cloud All Apps plan, which Adobe is renaming Creative Cloud Pro. Starting on June 17th, Adobe will automatically renew Creative Cloud All Apps subscribers into the new subscription, which will be $70 per month for individuals who commit to an annual plan, and from $60 for Creative Cloud all apps. Annual plans for students and teachers plans are moving from 35 a month to 40 a month. And annual teams pricing will go from 90 a month to 100 a month. Monthly non-annual subscriptions are also increasing from 90 to 105. Further, in an apparent attempt to push generative AI users to more expensive subscriptions as of June 17th, which is in a couple of weeks. God damn. Adobe will give new single app subscribers just 25 generative AI credits instead of the current 500. Oh my god, how greedy can you be? Excuse me, I think I need to blow my nose again. Gonna mute for a second here. I had to say, humidity with heat? Not good. I mean, not good. Summer for you, it's gonna happen. Subscribers can opt to move down to a new multi-app plan called Creative Cloud Standard, which is $55 a month for annual subscribers and $82.49 for monthly subscribers. However, it still limits access to mobile and web app features, and subscribers can't use premium generative AI features. Oh my god. AI is the new thing, you have to pay for it, and I bet they have a lot of stress on the servers and whatnot, but still. Adobe's announcement explained the higher prices by saying that the subscription tier includes all the core applications and new AI capabilities, power the way people create today, and its price reflects that innovation, as well as our ongoing commitment to deliver the future of creative tools. I don't need more AI in my life. Is this me? Just give me a cave with internet. That's me. Like today's Creative Cloud all apps playing, Creative Cloud Pro will include Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, Lightroom, and access to Adobe's web and mobile apps. AI features include unlimited usage of image and vector features in Adobe apps, including generative fill in Photoshop, generative remove in Lightroom, generative shape fill in Illustrator, and 4K video generation with generative extend in Premiere Pro. Cool. I don't need more AI in my life. By automatically forcing customers onto a more expensive plan, Adobe risks upsetting, disrupting, and confusing customers. They're experts in this, so it's not surprising. Even though the company is emailing customers about the change, yeah, like people read emails, come on. Changes also give credence to fears that many customers had when Adobe started incorporating generative AI into its offerings. One Reddit user, MikePX96, lamented the updates, noting, "So if you like the current all apps plan, it's going to cost them more, because AI. You can downgrade to the cheaper standard plan, but lose access to the features you had the whole time, like full access to the iPad, iPhone apps. Also, 25 credits in the standard plan is not nearly enough, since your AI features don't always give you great results on the first try. That's AI for you, just keep gambling. It will work at some point." I canceled Adobe and moved to DaVinci and Affinity 6 months ago, and don't forget it at all. Adobe never ceases to create new ways to nickel and dime their customers. Yes. We've been reading about Adobe for a while. How greedy can they be? My god, they're so fucking annoying. Another Redditor, B. Morgan, 1983, commented, "This is dumb. I don't need more AI in my life." Adobe isn't the only creative software company seeking to use generative AI to pull more money from customers. Last year, Canva announced new AI capabilities that led to 300% price hikes for some business customers. It's just this obsession with AI. Why AI? It's the new thing. Okay, how is this useful to me? I'm a bit too pragmatic for this world we live in. After customer backlash, partially relented in October by allowing team's users to adapt to 4 users for free instead of charging them per user. Wow, so generous. Better than nothing, I suppose. Like Canva, Adobe is trying to introduce new features and be part of the generative AI boom, while maintaining interest from creative customers, who are often long-time users who may not be interested in many of these added capabilities. For now, it seems that the former is being prioritized. Generative AI boom. I haven't seen anything good generated by AI. Everything I've seen is just trash. It's just slop, as people call it. It's really bad, and they will tell you, wow, but look, now you can have streamers being AI generated. Not like Nursama, obviously, but just the video generated by AI. And I'm like, okay, so you're making something that's usually low effort, because what they show is actually low effort. Wow, look! It's a Zoomer guy playing Minecraft! And you're making it even more low effort. That's so funny. Do you think AI can copy this brain damage? Not in a million years. Well, maybe in a million years. I hope not. My brand! It's insane. Everything I see, wow, it's so high quality. Google is cooked. Hollywood is cooked. And like, look, Hollywood is releasing trash. This is even worse. Come on. Where's the fun in this? Wow, look. So funny. TikToks, then TikTokies. And I look at them and I'm like, this is even worse than your average TikTok. And I don't like TikTok. And you're gonna tell me there's gonna be a net positive? I'm not seeing it, man. I'm not seeing it. And I guess the last article we have for today is a little bit more lighthearted, I suppose. It just feels a little bit more silly, which I guess we need to. Police in Japan to abolish skirts in uniforms in April. But why? What about the police women waifus? How is this allowed? The National Police Agency, NPA, said Friday that it will abolish skirts and uniforms worn by community police officers at police boxes and other locations. The move to take place in April. This is from March. I thought it said May. Shows what I know. Nothing. The move to take place in April reflects the fact that the vast majority of female police officers already opt to wear pants that are easy to move around in. Yeah, you know what? You say this now, in April. Let's wait for July. Have you seen summer in Japan? You don't wanna wear a skirt, are you sure? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe you're going to regret this. In an exchange to police uniforms, the NPA will also introduce polo shirt type wear with high breathability as part of its summer lineup. Help officers bear the scorching heat. That's pretty good. Scorching heat. The humidity is insane. According to the NPA, skirts used to be widely worn as many female police officers have been tasked with tackling traffic violations. Recently, many women have been stationed in police boxes, fearing the need for them to rush to scenes of incidents and apprehend suspects, and prompting them to avoid choosing skirts. I guess that makes sense. But what about the police women waifus? Time for a gacha game, guys. The miniskirt is gonna be legendary, okay? You will need to spend thousands of dollars. No Peter mechanics for you. See, I'm evil, okay? Under the uniform revision, the NPA will also unify the size of class insignia, which currently differ between men and women. That's strange. I mean, sure, that's... I wonder why. There was probably a reason for this at some point, but I wonder why. The polo shirt type uniform will have short and long sleeve versions. The current design of the uniform will be the same as those of existing shirts, obviously. Except for the number of buttons. Odd, sure. The NPA will also create a new cap for patrol duty. It's made with mesh fabric. Trying to see differences here. I don't think you see anything. I could be blind, who knows. I guess there are gonna be open shirts now. That makes sense. Oh wait, you mentioned polo shirt, it has to be this. I don't even know, it's fine. The polo shirt time uniform will be introduced on a trial basis at 4 police stations of the Saitama Prefectural Police from May to October. Prefectural police departments will then decide whether to actually adopt it. Just the beta version. Saitama Police? Interesting. Now the skirts, man. Now if this was the West, you would see people bitching about this for the worst possible reasons. That happens a lot, once again. Ah, my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty much everything we had for today. Interesting week, not a lot of good things. We started with Japan and we end with Japan. Imagine that, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. God fucking damn it. I'm so thirsty today. I don't need to change my uniform too. It's too hard for me, man. It's too hard for me. This might not be Japan, or maybe it is, you'll know that. But the summer feels just the same. It's really rough here. Humidity is not exclusive to Tokyo, okay? I guess I understand the song more. No one's living in Tokyo. With that heat, it's impossible. It's just impossible. Anyway, I need to check soon. When the fuck is actually my streamerversary? I know it's early June. I don't really have anything prepared. I guess I'll do the usual stuff. Looking back, doing some funny tests and whatnot. But we cannot expect new outfit this year, okay? It's gonna take more time. I have yet to start working on the new design. There's a couple of things I want to finish first that they're not related to stream. And it's gonna take a while because it's something that there are a bunch of things I need to learn while making it, but I think it's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be really nice if I manage to make it properly. So it will take time. So at some point it will happen. Anyway, we should worry ourselves first with next week and what's gonna happen in next week. So Monday, I'm gonna be finishing the Oracle of Seasons randomizer. I think we might be closer to go mode, so that's interesting. It's a little bit of a shame that the Oracle of Ages is still in alpha. So, cannot do them back to back. I need to see what else do they have in Archipelago, set the theme properly, and try to run some more randos. Just to practice and whatnot. I think they're really fun. Oracle of Season Seal was a disaster though. Oh my god. I lacked critical knowledge too, to be fair. And what else they have? On Wednesday, we're gonna be doing the last Magic the Gathering streaming who knows how much time. We're gonna be looking at a bunch of pre-constructed decks through the years, through the ages. I went to look at my old decks and see if they were actually usable or not. I feel like some of the older ones were more usable than the newer ones. That's funny. And on Thursday, we keep tracking with more Among Star Emerald. I still need to do my grinding, but holy shit, we are so back. Bunch of DMs, we have the means, ability capsule, we can do everything. The world is my oyster, as they say. Not quite, I can't use my bottle caps yet, but at some point. We need to go through the enemy hideouts and maybe reach the Psychic Twins. Might do some side quests, I suppose, for to catch legendaries and all that. That could be a good idea. Especially if I get more Master Balls, that's gonna be way easier. We can guarantee, or try to guarantee, good ideas. We don't care too much about nature anymore. Maybe the abilities. We'll see. And I need to start considering what's the next big game we're gonna be playing. There's a bunch of options, and I'm not quite sure what to do. I've been considering Final Fantasy VI. I've been considering Yakuza Kiwami 2. I've been considering Vagrant Story because it keeps coming up in conversations. And since they have a Retro Chibus list, that could be something that we can do. I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe something else that's kind of short. I need to check my Steam too. I know I missed some stuff. I'm not gonna be playing The Witcher 3. That's way too long. Nothing wrong with that, but it's way too long. I don't know too much about The Witcher anyway. I wanted to play 1 and 2 first. I got really filtered by 1. Not my type of game. And I know that 3 is much different. But we'll see. We had to tackle the backlog. Holy shit. Only the bucket list was coming up in my brain. We can keep talking about that. Next week we have a fantastic week for doing shit. The usual shit. But I'm gonna leave now. So thank you for coming. Hope you had some fun, even though news were kind of terrible today, I know. And I will see you all on Monday, finishing Oracle of Seasons. Until then, you know the rules. Take care, and never trust the Canadians. They're evil people, apparently.